Hello YouTube, it's BOP5 again, and it is December 12th, 2018, and today is Frank Sinatra's birthday, the late, great Frank Sinatra, Francis Albert Sinatra of Hoboken, New Jersey, born with a ruptured eardrum. Yeah, his eardrum ruptured during childbirth. Thomas Potts, thanks for coming. You were first, obviously. Commander Ironwolf, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Frank Sinatra, hands down, by far, my number one favorite musician of all time, and will ever be. 100% confident of that. So Frank couldn't get hurt by lost singing, says Thomas. No, Thomas, because Frank would just sing in his own voice. It would be a bubble around him of audio perfection, and Lore's voice literally couldn't penetrate the bubble. The only issue is if he was perhaps asleep or very inebriated and he couldn't sing for some reason, then he might be vulnerable to the Lore musical menace. But see, most of the time he had his own defenses. Plus, I think just being in the presence of Frank Sinatra would increase anybody else's singing ability by at least 20 or 30%. So Lore would probably actually sound better just by being near Frank Sinatra. He could have even been part of the Rat Pack had he been alive at the time. Who knows? Fly Me to the Moon. That is a great song, Captain Ironwolf. I could list my favorite Sinatra songs, but we would be here all night and into tomorrow. Basically, almost anything on his reprise collection, and at least half of the songs from the Columbia and what was the other? Columbia years and Capitol Records. They're all good. Some songs I even like multiple versions of. The duets weren't my favorite, I'll be honest, because the duets with Sammy Davis Jr. or Dean Martin. Okay, those were great. But I'm talking about, he had two duets albums, I think in the 90s, towards the end of his life. They did duets with other popular singers, and to be honest, none of them did anything for me. But the Rat Pack stuff, no, that's great. Me and My Shadow, him and Sammy Davis Jr. Dean's song. Well, Dean's song is really between Dean and Sammy Davis, although in some versions Frank Sinatra plays a little part in it. But those are classics. All classics. All classy. Right? I mean, Frank Sinatra, the epitome of class. He was ahead of his time. in so many ways. The reality, racial, Sammy Davis Jr. was black, and in the 60s, it was still an issue in a lot of places. They let him sing, but the hotels didn't want him to stay in the same place. They would let him sing, but they would give him trouble for staying in the hotel, and Frank Sinatra would have no part of that. If he was going to play, he was going to stay in the same rooms as the rest of the people, and he's put his foot down, and they capitulated, because what else were they going to do? So, civil rights hero isn't one of the terms often attributed to him, but it should be. I hear and see you. Thank you, Thomas. I'd be very upset if nobody was hearing me at this point. Come Fly With Me is my favorite, says Thomas Potts. My favorite song, excuse me, my eye is a little. My favorite Sinatra song changes almost day to day, if not week to week. One of my favorites has been Both Sides Now. And it's probably not one of the more popular songs. It's probably not one of his 20 most popular songs, right? I mean, I don't know about everybody, but most people know My Way, It's the Last Dance, South of the Border, That's Life, the theme from New York, New York, Come Fly With Me, Swinging on a Star, The Last Dance, if I didn't say that already, and a bunch of others. Both Sides Now, also sometimes mistakenly called Clouds, is, man, I wish I could play some of these songs. I mean, I do not care about being demonetized, because I'm not monetized to begin with, but I don't think YouTube would let me play some of them. Well, we could see what happens. I mean, worst case is they shut the stream down or something. Let's do an experiment. Okay, well, there we have, obviously, the man this is all dedicated to. Let me stop that there. Did you guys hear the first couple of seconds of that audio? And now I wait like 30 seconds for anyone to answer. Yes, okay, you heard it. Okay. So
Flows and flows of angel hair, nice green castles in the air, and feathered canyons.
So this is Both Sides Now.
I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds
and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. Generally don't know clouds at all. Okay, I don't want to play too much, and I don't want to give Anti-Tracker any video to make a version of me singing. Hail DJ Odyssey, thanks for stopping by. Tonight is about Frank Sinatra, and in a little bit it'll be about regrets. Because as Mr. Sinatra sung,
Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention.
well, he might have had too few to mention, but I certainly can mention a few. The chairman of the board, yes. Chairman of the board, head of the Rat Pack, top of the heap, king of the hill, A number one, Frank Sinatra. And of course, the unfortunate passing of his son, Frank Sinatra Jr., a year or two back now. It's a shame. He sounded a lot like his father. He was very good at it. But I was such a Sinatra fan. But unfortunately, I didn't actually become a Sinatra fan until he had actually already passed away. And, okay, so little background. I grew up weird. You know, I was not your typical child. I didn't listen to any music, really. Even at the start of college, I didn't own a single music CD or music cassette or any type of music, mixtape, anything at all. Okay, I did get a CD player from my Jeep, which was my first car, but the only CDs I had were Conversational Klingon. And that would make some people awkward when they came in the car and they're like, oh, what do you have to listen to? And I was like, Conversational Klingon. And they thought it was a joke. But reality would soon set in. So, yeah. It wasn't until like middle of freshman semester, maybe towards the end of freshman semester, that I ordered a Frank Sinatra album from Amazon for the sole purpose of getting the New York, New York theme. And the only reason was because it was the song the New York Yankees played after every victory. And it was 1996, which was the first year the Yankees won the World Series in 15 or 20 years. So it was like the first time in my adult life I remembered them winning. It was a big deal. And even though I wasn't a Yankees fan at the beginning of the college semester, my 1986 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I had, this was in 1996, I was 10 years old at the time. It had an original factory analog radio that was broken, and it only got AM, and it only got one AM channel, and because you couldn't move the dial. And the channel it happened to be on was the channel that the New York Yankees games came on. So with nothing else to listen to and a 30 to 60 minute commute, most days I would just listen to that station. And per chance, I listened to a number of Yankee games. I kind of caught Yankee fever. I found myself listening to Yankee games even when I wasn't in the car because I kind of got hooked. They were doing good. They got to the World Series. They won. And I just wanted that song, New York, New York. So I went on Amazon. I ordered a Frank Sinatra CD that had it on it. I had no idea and didn't care what the rest of the songs on the CD were. That was the one CD I wanted. I got it. All I listened to for the first couple of months was New York, New York. But over the next few months, I'd start to let originally I had to play it through a CD player that was connected. I would have a CD player on the seat, and it connected through one of those tape deck. You'd put the cassette tape in with the wire coming out, and it would hook into a CD player. And later I ended up getting a CD player for radio, but for whatever, it doesn't matter. Point is, I'd play the CDs, and over time I'd listen to the other songs. And it just so happened that the CD I ordered is like perhaps the greatest collection of Sinatra bests ever put out. I think it was called the My Way collection or something. I forget the exact title, but it had like 16 or 18 of his top songs. Last Dance, South of the Border. Again, the theme from New York, New York. Saturday Night. That's Life, My Way. Send in the Clowns. All these top songs. And, Something Stupid. That's another good one. And every one of those songs, as I started to listen to it, they touched me. They had an emotional impact. And the next thing I knew, I was a fan of pretty much every song on that CD. And then I went ahead and ordered more CDs and started downloading them because this was the age of Napster. And, you could just download thousands of songs over the course of a weekend. And, So I bought CDs, I downloaded things, and my Sinatra collection grew over 6 months to a year to literally just about any song that he ever put out. I had a backlog. I hadn't even listened to them all. It was just taking me days to catalog them. And, so I became a Sinatra fan. And after I started listening to Sinatra, I expanded my horizons a little more to some other singers and some other genres. But to this day, I don't listen to pop music, nothing current. I don't think my playlist has really changed much in 10 years. Probably the newest song on any playlist I listen to would have been like 2006. And the majority are pre-1990. Thomas Potts says, your fish tank always has nice clean water. Yes, Thomas. It is a way of advanced digital fish tank. None of that pesky gravel cleaning and dirty yellow water or dead fish. I have a fish story to tell you. Give me 1 minute. Let me finish the comments. And you're going to hear about my real fish tank. Okay, so that was up. Chairman of the board. Now music is digital. That is correct. 1996, a bad year. Yes, I believe that was the year Frank Sinatra passed away. Derek McManus. Qapla, Derek. Thank you for coming by. Hard to beat the classics. Impossible to beat, if I had to say so. Doomcock does a great Sinatra impersonation. He does an excellent Sinatra impersonation. In fact, I wouldn't even call it an impersonation. He just does a great Sinatra. BBB, good to see you. You're saying no. I'm not sure what you're saying no about, but good to see you. I don't think I've seen you on my live stream before, but... Well, DJ Odyssey says, well, hell, I better get you William Shatner CD, lol. You know, I think I did get a William Shatner CD at some point, and yeah, I was not a fan. As much as I like Captain Kirk, what was he singing? Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds or something? Yeah, he's not my type. Oh, 1996 was the year you got married. Sorry, DJ. He died in 1998. Okay, well, yeah, I didn't commit his death date to memory, unfortunately. I knew it was 90s, later 90s, so... BBB, oh, it's Diana. Well, hello, Diana. Good to see you. That is a interesting username. 2016, the best year ever. Cubs win. Holy cow. Yep, and had it been 1 year earlier, Back to the Future 2 would have gotten it right. Derek got married in 96 as well. The fish story makes me look bad. No, it doesn't make you look bad because you didn't know. You were doing what you thought was best. Okay, well, for those who don't know, BBB, aka Diana, is my sister. She doesn't live here, but I did give her notice that I was going live tonight, so she decided to come by and check it out. So you guys say hello to my sister. The fish story is this. So when I ended up in the hospital, I had a fish tank in my bedroom. It had some tropical fish in there. They were aggressive fish. It was a small tank, relatively small. So I didn't want them getting too big too fast. And one fish was already kind of bigger than the others. So I wouldn't feed them every day. I fed them once every 2 to 3 days to make sure they didn't grow too fast. And when I ended up in the coma, my sister happened to have come up from Florida because it was Mother's Day weekend or something, and she wanted to see my mom, and my mom came in to see me at the hospital. So once I got super sick, my sister never went back down to Florida, and my mom never went back to her house. She stayed at my house, which was much closer to the hospital. And they both knew I had fish in the bedroom. Now, it was a very strenuous time. Somebody was always with me in the hospital, and so it was kind of like shifts were being taken. There was very little, very few times two people would be home at the same time here. And if they were, one of them was probably asleep. So there wasn't a lot of communication going on in this house. But both my mom and my sister felt they would do me the favor of feeding my fish. And so the fish went from getting fed once every 3 days to twice a day, because mom didn't know my sister was feeding them, and my sister didn't know my mom was feeding them. So some months later, when I was finally getting out of the coma, and they both told me, "Don't worry, we're feeding your fish every day." And I'm told my reaction was something like, because I couldn't talk, because I had tubes down my throat. But all I wanted to tell them was, no, don't feed the fish every day. That's bad. Don't feed the fish every day, let alone twice a day. Oh, needless to say, unfortunately, one fish got much bigger than the rest, and he did not like sharing the tank with the other fish, and the poor fishy eventually passed on. He was not still here when I got home. It was an accident. It could have happened to anyone, but if you have fish tank and you're afraid you might ever go into a coma, it might not hurt to just stick a piece of paper on the side of the tank with feeding instructions for your next of kin or whoever that takes care of the tank to understand what they should be doing, because it's not always obvious. So no, it certainly shouldn't make you look bad. Thomas Potts says, "Hello, Diana, you have a good brother." Aw, thank you, Thomas. You don't tell her I'm a supervillain in Anti-Tracker's stream. DJ Odyssey says, "Hey, my 2 new videos today had nothing to do with bunnies." Diana, do not go to DJ Odyssey's page. Those bunnies are not the bunnies you are looking for. Trust me on this. They are not the cute rabbits you think they are. Okay, don't be fooled. Stay clear of DJ Odyssey's bunny videos. That's all I'm going to say. I'm happy to make a guest appearance one day. That'd be great, Dee. Next time you're around and have a voice, you should come on. Darth Raven, BBB, please do. We'd love to hear all his embarrassing stories Darth, I'm telling you my embarrassing stories already. I mean, granted, she probably has other embarrassing stories, but it's like I'm already giving you embarrassing stories, right? I mean, you know about the vacuum, okay? You know about the vacuum. But how much more embarrassing do you want? I told you about the kid I bit in preschool. In fact, we're going to get into some regrets in a couple. So those are kind of embarrassing. DJ Odyssey. Well, you will see today I was playing Fallout 4. Actually, I saw that video, DJ. You were throwing, you were shooting babies. You had a gun that shot explosive babies. That was hilarious. A baby gun. I didn't know what you meant by baby gun at first until I actually saw the babies coming out of the gun and exploding. I've never played Fallout, but yeah, well, that was surprising. And they ain't Playboy bunnies either. That is true. They're not Playboy bunnies. They are not bunnies anybody really likes. Derek says, when I had a fish tank, my cat just watched them sometimes, never bothered them. My sister says, stop volume shaming her. I'm volume shaming her because I said when she has a voice, because she currently has laryngitis. It's hard for her to talk. Anti-tracker is on the bridge. Anti-tracker, meet my sister, also known as BBB. BBB, aka Diana. Anti-tracker is the YouTuber who probably got me the most people to subscribe to my channel. And he's a good guy. He's not shooting babies. The gun... Okay, he's not shooting at babies. The gun is clearly a joke. And babies are the missiles that come out of the gun. And the babies explode. So they're not live babies. Darth says, your vacuum called Vacky. You have a special relationship. No, my vacuum and I are just friends. I've told you that before. There's nothing special going on. DJ Odyssey says his second video was him fighting Macho Man Randy Savage. Wow. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Thomas Potts, DJ hates babies. Oh, baby jokes. Okay. Oh, how does it go? What's black and white and red all over? Oh. Oh no, how does it go? Diana, help me out here. What's black and white and red all over? I'm going to give you a second to answer. The answer is... No, it's not Lore Reloaded. It's not a subburned nun. A penguin with a suntan. You're getting close. You're getting close. Okay. My sister says a baby in a skunk suit that got run over by a car. I think I originally heard it as a baby in a penguin suit that got run over by a car. And I know that is completely tasteless, but you just had to be there when that first got told. And we were on a road trip, and we ended up in a thruway, on the New York State Thruway, a service area, and they had one of those crane games where you pick, stuffed animals out, and one of the stuffed animals was a baby in a penguin suit. Like, it was perfect timing. Okay, I gotta go back up a little. Right, the fake babies you shoot are actually mini nukes. It's weird that I came in here to heard Bird say he thought it was funny to shoot babies, not shoot at babies. It's a difference. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about shooting babies. Speaking of babies, I read an article today that the San Francisco station that stopped playing Baby It's Cold Outside finally relented to pressure from the public. In their polling, they said it was overwhelming that the number of people who wanted to keep hearing Baby It's Cold Outside far outnumbered the few that had a problem with the song. So they put it back into their holiday lineup. So civility prevailed, a rare thing in San Francisco. Anti-tracker, how's your back, man? Noticed you're sitting a bit to the right. You doing okay, bud? Yeah, we all hope Anti-Tracker's back is doing well. Like I said before, I remember the back pain, especially before I got sick. It is no joke. Yeah, it was a penguin. It was a penguin suit. So yeah, BOP really does hate babies. I don't hate babies. I like jokes. And the books, the truly tasteless joke books, I used to buy those books. I'm not going to apologize for that. Anyway, nobody laughed. Well, they'd laugh at the what do you call a fish with no eyes? I scared Sassy. Oh, I'm sorry, Sassy. I didn't mean to scare you. You get it? A fish with no eyes? I'm just saying FSH. There's no I. Hi, Sassy. It's okay. It's okay, baby. She's wagging her tail looking at me now. Anti-tracker, so Bird, any chance we can get you to come to Colorado in April? Well, if I miraculously recover by then, sure. But barring that, no. No, if I could get to Colorado in April, I'd already be in Arizona today. But unfortunately, travel cross country, hell, even across the state is just not feasible for me at the moment. I would love to come out there. I wouldn't partake, but I'd love to come out and meet everyone. It's just not going to happen. Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, I thought it would be funny to send you a meme of a sexy vacuum. Never Google sexy vacuums. Thank you, Darth. I won't Google it. I don't think it would ever have been an issue. Anti-Trekker says, I don't hate babies. They taste delicious. Yeah. DJ Odyssey says, I was going to start calling BOP the rug doctor after the whole vacuum thing. Listen, it's an invention, okay? Darth Raven says, Bird of Prey, why not shave your mustache and grow your beard like Anti-Tracker's chin brish? That sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry, AT. I can't travel any real distance. If you ever swing through New York, you're welcome to come this way. But I would love to be there. I would. There's a lot of places I'd love to be, but it is unlikely Colorado. Somehow the beard was reddish. Oh. Diana says he had a beard when he was in the coma. Okay, she means like a full, like a mountain man beard. 'Cause nobody shaved me. Apparently they just don't shave people when they're in comas. So for months the facial hair just grew and grew, and she said somehow the beard was reddish. This beard is actually, well, it's a lot more white now these last few years, but the majority of my beard-wearing life, quite a bit of the hair in the beard was red. No, not a red hair to be found on my head, mind you. That's jet black. But in the beard, definitely quite a few red hairs. I'm sure I can still find some today. So there's a little part ginger in me. It's not a big part, but I do carry that ginger gene. So it's probably why some people think I'm evil. Baby, the other white meat, the other white meat. Darth Raven, I'm sending you a screenshot of what came up. Google is effed up. No, don't send me a screenshot. I don't want to see it. I just today, there was a story, for those of you who know or don't know, I put in time as a tech support on a web forum software called, well, it doesn't matter what it's called because I don't want to associate it with this story. But there's a company that made software for the software that I provide support for. The companies are in no way related. It's just a third-party company that was making software for the software we happen to use, and found out today that the head of that company got arrested for quote-unquote child porn charges. But it turns out they live in Scotland, that it wasn't actually child porn, and that it wasn't real pictures of kids. But apparently in 2014, they passed a law that cartoon pictures of kids count. And apparently, and I don't know the facts, but this is what I'm told, that there's this Japanese section of anime called hentia, I don't even know. But apparently it often shows teenage, I assume girls, nude in cartoon format. And it is part of Japanese cartoon culture. But in Scotland, that technically became illegal to own. And the guy literally got charged with the same as if he had child porn on his computer, because he had these Japanese cartoon drawings, which sound disgusting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't even like anime, but I would be. He didn't even try to hide it because he didn't think they were illegal. And to be honest, I wouldn't think a cartoon image was illegal. I would think it was disgusting. Don't get me wrong. But apparently Scotland decided that it was illegal. I don't know if it's even illegal here, but I don't want to even see something like cartoon porn of a vacuum, because even if it's not illegal today, who knows what it'll be in 2 or 3 years. And then it's stuck on your computer, and then you go into jail. Why? I had vacuum porn. It's crazy. Commander Iron Wolf asked, what does a sexy vacuum look like? Well, I guess you should Google it and find out. I don't want to know. I assume it's like what a sexy starship looks like. Maybe if you ask Enderman, he can tell you. DJ Odyssey. Well, at least you woke up, you didn't find a bunch of zombies lumbering around. Right, like Rick from The Walking Dead. Of course, Rick was able to walk when he woke up, whereas I wasn't. So, would I rather be able to walk, but the whole world turned to zombies? Or be paralyzed, but the world is not zombies? It's tough question. I have to think about it. My beard is ginger. Ask Anti-Tracker and your brother. They have seen. Maybe you're Irish in you. You know, Darth, we did the DNA tests, both my sister and I, and I don't believe Irish was listed. Mostly Italian, the Caucasus region, some Germany, France area, but I don't think anything British, Scottish, or Irish was any significant part of the DNA. My mother had some, so I guess I had like half as much as she did, but it wasn't all that much for us. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, breaking news. Mom is chiming in. Her cousin has red hair, and your aunt, her father's sister also had red hair. So the ginger gene isn't all that far away. Darth Raven says, too bad and too late. Well, I'm assuming it's on Discord. Diana's going to check her 23andMe results. DJ Odyssey had to do it. He warned you not to do it. It's like Anti-Tracker warned you not to pick the Lore Reloaded singing super chat, and you guys, you do it anyway. Darth. It's hentai, also known as tentacle porn. Japanese age of consent is 13, and they are more lax than over here and in the US. On Netflix, there's a movie called Pretty Baby. I don't even want to keep reading that. I don't want to know. You know what? The Japanese have an ancient culture, and I know there's definitely a lot of interesting things like sushi and Godzilla, but they've got some weird stuff like vending machines that sell used panties and things like this that I just don't, good for them. I'm not interested. Give me a good old American toilet. No fancy Japanese bidet. And, American stuff, not Japanese. Sushi and Godzilla are my favorite. And of course, electronics, like VCRs back in the day. Doc Brown says, here's your problem. This says made in Japan. And Marty's like, all the best stuff is made in Japan. That clearly would have been crazy for 1955 Doc Brown to understand. Darth Raven says, Commander Ironwolf, Irish and UK Netflix. Derek, Foley likes ginger ladies, that's for sure. Captain Foley does like the ginger women. Darth says he deleted it, man. Thank you. Thank you. It's fine. I mean, it was on Discord. It wasn't like it was gonna download to my computer, but yeah, I really don't need to see that type of stuff. DJ Odyssey says, don't tell Captain Redneck about the used panty machines. I'm pretty sure he would know. Darth asks, if you got arrested, what would they do with you? I mean, in your bed, lol. Put you on the floor, lol. You know, I've often wondered what would happen. I assume I would go into some type of hospital and like be handcuffed to the bed, even though I really can't get out of bed. But unfortunately, you can't apply common sense to the criminal justice system. They do not go together. So we just just try to avoid that by not breaking any serious laws. And Diana says she's going to pick up some food after you read this. It's been fun all. I was going to say Qapla, but she's not a sci-fi fan. Thanks, Diana. Have a good night. If I don't talk to you later, feel better. Okay, so she got away without revealing any embarrassing stories. She'll have to wait till next time. Day tracker. Breaking news, bird of prey likes shooting babies, but is afraid of dirty pictures. Listen, the public is much more forgiving of shooting babies than they are of those types of pictures. It's just the way it is. If you heard that noise, that wasn't my stomach, that was my humidifier. Just gurgling water. Darth says it's not used panties, it's clean panties. How would you know, Darth? Did you look it up? I don't know. Somebody told me it was used, so I always just called it used. I've never been to Japan. I probably won't ever go to Japan. So I'll take your word for it. Derek, you misspelled her name. She has 2 N's. That is a little point of contention, because people misspell it all the time. But I'm sure she wouldn't be mad. Darth says to Anti-Tracker, if you had to live for one day, pick one. Captain Redneck or Bird's vacuum? What the hell would he do with my vacuum? You know what? I don't want to know. And he certainly wouldn't do anything with Captain Redneck. Commander Ironwolf, I imagine it'd be very hard for you to go anywhere. It is. It's hard to go. I can get out and go to like some local restaurants, a couple of local doctor's offices, but anything further than I can comfortably get in my wheelchair, I usually have to go by ambulance. And it is no fun riding in an ambulance, especially with the potholes around here. It's literally painful to go any distance by ambulance. Not to mention the $500 it costs, $250 each way as a deductible copay on ambulance rides. Josh says your sister will show up in Anti-Tracker stream to old stories of you. I would be afraid of that, except that she is so against Star Trek or anything sci-fi that the instant she comes in the house, I have to change the channel or shut off the TV. She has zero tolerance for it. Why, I don't know, but I don't think she could tolerate sci-fi stuff for that long to tell a story. Sorry to hear that, Derek. Yes, ambulances are no good. We'll have a special no nerd night just for her. I don't put it past you. I do not. Okay, guys, let's do a couple of regrets. I just wanted to get my chest, get a little serious here. Okay, I don't regret biting that kid in preschool because, like I said, he didn't let me get on the swing or the sliding pond, whatever it was. It was my turn, and he was just being an a-hole. But here's something I regret that I've really not ever spoken about much since. And it goes back to elementary school. In the 4th grade, we had a class rock collection. And the teacher asked all the students to bring in some rocks, and we had this class rock collection. And for the year or half a year, it was in the classroom, and kids, all the students would see all the rocks. And at the end of the year, the teacher was giving the rocks back to all the kids who brought in their rocks. And me and a good friend at the time both claimed that a certain rock belonged to us. At the time, I was 110% sure that was my rock. I had no ifs or buts about it. I was 100% certain it was my rock. It happened to be a geode that was broken in half, but they weren't two even halves. There was a 3/4 piece of the geode and a 1/4 piece of the geode. So the teacher, not ever expecting to be in this position, really didn't know what to do. She gave half the rock to each of us, and of course we were both upset because we both thought the whole rock was ours. That being said, I, being the better student, got the bigger half of the rock. We tried to get the other quarter of the rock from the kid who had it. We did. I remember my dad painted a rock purple for some reason, thinking that the kid might want to swap it for this purple rock. And I don't know why. In hindsight, it was so obvious. It was a spray painted rock, but the kid obviously did not want the rock. Even he knew it was spray painted. And we had a bit of a falling out over it. And it wasn't terrible, but it strained our friendship. Now, I do remember by 5th grade, we were friends again, but things were just never quite the same after that. And after 5th grade, we had to go to a different school. It was intermediary school, and I don't think he went to the same school as me, because I kind of lost contact with him for a while after that. And now there were other friends we had in common, and I found out much later, I had just graduated college, or maybe it was in my last year of college, and I found out he actually ended up killing himself. And that weighed on me because, like I said, at the time, I know I was sure it was my rock, but today, when I think about it now, I just don't know. I honestly don't know if it was my rock or not. I don't think I would have lied about it. I had no reason to. I mean, I had a lot of other rocks, but I mean, it, I don't know, I'm not going to say it set him down the wrong path, because he was already on his way down the wrong path, and the warning signs were there. In 5th grade, we had an assignment to draw a car of the future. And like I said, we were kind of friendly by that time. We were both into science. We had desks next to each other. I think that was the year the space shuttle started going up again. So I remember the newspaper had this big spread on the revamped shuttle. I remember us covering our desks with the newspaper of the space shuttle. And so we were right next to each other. We had this assignment to draw a future car. And he drew a car. I didn't see what he was drawing. I was drawing one. I mean, mine looked like a rocket ship. His looked more like a car. And the teacher called on him first to present his drawing. And he was very proud of it. And he said, now you understand, this is New York City in the 1980s. Pre-Giuliani, pre the cleanup of New York City. I mean, we were headed into like RoboCop Detroit at the time. Crime was constant on everybody's mind. So his car of the future had an AK-47 on top, and it was his defense mechanism to defend against people stealing the car. That this gun would kind of track you, and if you weren't the owner of the car, it would shoot you. And I remember the teacher berating him for it. Like, you really think there's going to be guns on cars? You think that's the future? I mean, he tore this kid apart for daring to have a gun on top of his car. And meanwhile, I'm looking at my drawing, and I've got missiles on mine. I've got missiles on the side of mine. So the teacher comes to me, and he says, okay, what's your picture of? And I was like, when my future car flies, and you see these things that look like missiles, they're extra fuel tanks, but they're streamlined so that they're aerodynamic. But I swear to God, up until the minute before when he tore my friend apart, those were missiles to shoot down other cars. They were not fuel tanks. But man, very quickly they become fuel tanks. So yeah, he had his issues with drugs and Nazi stuff, but I always wonder if the rock incident contributed to his eventual downfall. So, Frank Sinatra regrets. I've had a few. That's one of my few that I wanted to mention. get back to some of the chats. Anti-tracker regrets not winning the lotto. Oh, yeah, that's a biggie. Excuse me. DJ Odyssey says he regrets nothing. If I did, then I wouldn't have ended up how I am today and never met all of you wonderful people. Well, that is one way of looking at things, DJ. I understand people who think like that. I'd say 90% of the time I do think like that, but there are some things I still regret. And for anybody who is younger than me, who might be listening, because by the time you're my age, you've figured this out already. And you've probably heard it before. But, okay, now this was a bad example because I just gave a regret of something I did. But most of the regrets you're going to have in life, you're going to regret things you didn't do, not things you did. So just remember that. It's absolutely true. I regret 10 times as many things that I didn't do, that I should have done, than things I did and later felt I shouldn't have done. Even things I did that didn't work out, I don't regret them by a large margin. Like, there's very few things I did that I regret. Putting so much effort into getting that rock back being one of the few. So many things I should have done. People, friends, women I should have asked out, who years later said, "Why didn't you ever ask me out? I totally would have went out with you." It's like, well, you could have thrown me a little bone, but no, I didn't say that. But yeah. So if you have that chance, I asked one lady out who just flat out said no, never gonna happen. I tried and tried for months. I bought her flowers. I was very nice to her. We remain friends to this day, but she flat out said it's never going to happen. And unlike Anti-Tracker's wife, she never changed her mind. But that's life. I don't regret going after it. I do regret the 3 or 4 women after her that because of her, I was too afraid to ask out. And at least 2 of them later confessed to me that, they would have done things. We would have gone out. They were interested, but I just never asked. So those are the things you really regret. Much less the things that you actually do you regret. Skipping through some comments. Have you ever thought of getting a wheelchair car? One you could roll into your chair and have wheelchair taxis here that could take your chair. We have wheelchair taxis here too, Darth. The problem is that I'm 6'4" with short legs, which means when I sit on my wheelchair, my head is very high off the ground. Like I'm still over 5 feet tall sitting in my wheelchair. And the wheelchair taxis and the wheelchair minivans and cars usually have a 5 foot or less ceiling. So I literally can't get into most wheelchair accessible cars or taxis. You need a very, very modified vehicle for me to be able to get into it. And even then, it's difficult. We've yet to find one I can just roll into. The best we found was a very, very old van that I had to back into, still kind of recline my chair and turn my head beyond reason just to get under the door. And once I was in, like, it was literally right at my forehead, the ceiling of the van. So it was crazy. It wasn't safe. I used it a couple of times, but then the company that had it couldn't even promise they could send that van anymore. So I'd make the reservation and they send a different van, and that other van was just a little smaller and I couldn't fit in at all. So unfortunately, we're talking $30,000 to $40,000+ for the customized vehicle that I would need to be able to wheel in and wheel out of, and it's not on our when we hit the lottery, yeah, maybe. Other than that, it's not in our budget. But again, even if I had a vehicle I could get into, it would let me go around the neighborhood. Maybe I'd go to the movie theater or something, but I wouldn't go that far because of the problems I talked about earlier. Even if I could get in the car, I still have to worry about going to the bathroom and things like that, and it would just freak me out to go too far. You fought over rocks. As funny as it sounds, Thomas, we fought over rocks, as stupid as it sounds. At the time, we thought they were so special because they were geodes with like salt crystals in them. And now you can buy geodes for eBay, probably $10 for like 5 pounds of geodes, and you just smash them with a hammer and you can get all the geodes you wanted. But for a kid in Brooklyn, I was sure I got the rock in Arizona like I had gotten a number of my other rocks. He was certain he had the rock, and I just don't know anymore. It hurts me. It hurts me. God, what if I was wrong? It was not worth it. The only thing I know is that I know at the time I wasn't lying. I honestly thought it was mine. And I was pretty smart as a kid, so I wouldn't say I was wrong. But it just hurts as an adult that I can't be sure of it. No, I didn't bite him. I wish I did, because if we bit each other, or I bit him and he punched me, it would have been over with. No, it wasn't a pet rock. So you bit this kid. Did he have to get rabies shots? No, nobody had to get rabies shots. I didn't get locked up for observation. I did get thrown out of the school. So my parents had to put me in a private preschool because I got kicked out of the public preschool. Did Anti-Tracker get a super chat out of all this biting? He might have. I wouldn't be surprised. See a guy in a wheelchair biting somebody. Thank you. If you join my stream tomorrow night, I will have the holiday special ready. Joshua's most intensive animation ever. Well, I will probably see it in the morning because I just can't stay up that late. DJ Odyssey, Anti has been around Foley too much. Now he's promoting his stream and others. I'm joking. You know what, DJ? I was going to point this out to Anti-Tracker, but in the last month or two that I've been promoting his channel, his subscription counts have been rising, right? I mean, they were stagnant there around 6,500 for a while. I started promoting his channel. He's up to 6,900 plus subs. Just saying, maybe I get a little bit of that credit, Anti-Tracker. Yeah, the rock thing had nothing with it. Well, Darth says, I know how you feel. I lost my best friend from school. I looked for him everywhere for 2 years. Found out he passed away from cancer on the operating table after I last spoke to him. I'm sorry to hear that, Darth. It still gets me when I think that's 2 years I lost with him. He's a great guy and I really genuinely miss him. I'm sorry to hear that. Insomnia, buffering. Well, refresh the stream, please. No shooting cars. Captain Batman, hello James. Good to see you if you're still here. Captain Ironwolf, Commander Ironwolf, excuse me. Someone once asked if I liked Frank Sinatra, and I replied, what self-respecting Italian American doesn't? Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I would just say, what self-respecting American doesn't? I regret not giving Anti-Tracker $2 billion. If you had $2 billion to give, that would be terrific, because I'd assume you had even more. Thomas Potts says, Anti-Tracker, I never went to prom. DJ Odyssey says, hell, he never got to date till after he was out of high school. You know, I never went to my high school prom either. I don't regret not going because, to be honest, I didn't have too many friends in high school. I don't think any of the people I was friends with actually went to prom, so there was really nothing that was going to happen. And it was on a boat too, so it wasn't like you could leave if you got bored. Once you got on the boat, you were staying for the night. Anti-Tracker says, if I win the lotto, or if my channel grows to a large size, I will hook you up, BOP, I swear. Oh, thank you, Anti-Tracker. 7,000 subs giveaway. One thing I like about Bird's streams, it makes me feel better about how poorly I keep up with the comments. Thank you, Anti-Tracker. Thank you. But he reads every comment. Well, I try to. Hey guys, I'm going to be right back because you know what? I have to use my old trusty vacuum. So, hold on. Sorry about that. Now I will Purell my hands. Not that they got dirty, but just because, you know, better safe than sorry. This isn't Purell, it's CVS brand hand sanitizer. Just as good. DJ prefers Dean Martin over Frank. Listen, Dean Martin, also an excellent singer. Dean, my best, well, not I say my best, but when Dean, Sammy, and Frank are on stage, that's as good as it gets. 2 or 3 times I went to Las Vegas to see a show called The Rat Pack Lives with impersonators of the 3, and I loved it each time. It was a small venue. It was really fun. Okay, let's see. Amanda Ironwolf. I had a girlfriend at the time of prom, but I still didn't go. Well, then you're a fool, I would assume, because if I had a girlfriend at the time of prom, I would have gone to prom. Unless she didn't want to go to prom, in which case we would have gone elsewhere. But I would have been somewhere with the girlfriend at the time of prom. Anti-Tracker, we should create a Facebook page. Get your core members, add each other as friends, and take the piss what you think. I think there's something lost in translation there, Darth. Anti-tracker, ironic. He skipped a bunch of comments and read that he reads every comment. I didn't say I read every comment. I read every comment. Somebody said, but he reads every comment. And I only skipped some comments that really didn't have anything to do with anything. I don't think anybody cares. If I missed your comment, please retype it in. I will say it. BOP5, remember to rub the vacuum gently. Tell her she looks great tonight. And she tells anyone she will get in trouble. And if she tells anyone, she will get in trouble and nobody will believe her. Oh my God. Oh God. Vacuum lives matter. Glad my sister's gone for this. Derek. Anti-tracker, you'd be fine with the comments if people stopped asking you to check Discord or read my last comment. Vacuums suck. Well, they do. That's their job. Anti-tracker, I need to have Joshua make a 2-minute animation involving vacuums. If you did, Anti-tracker, that would be great, because every time I needed to use the vacuum while I'm listening to your stream, I would buy I'd buy that 2-minute animation because I know I wouldn't miss anything. And then it would be perfect timing. Once the vacuum was off, I'd be back. Welcome back. Thank you, James. Hygiene is good practice. It is. Don't give him the context. I think I know the context. Is it just me, or is anyone else thinking of a Flinker style video with a yellow stream spraying everyone right now? Plinkett style video? I don't know what that is. And with that, Anti-tracker has to run. He says, take care all. Take care, Anti-tracker. Let Bird know I said goodbye in 20 minutes when he reads this. He posted that at 8:03. It's now 8:06. Okay, I'm only 3 minutes behind the comments. Dirk. Take the piss, make fun of, tease, mock in a friendly way. James, Brits sure do talk funny. They do. The Irish, too. See you later, Anti-tracker. DJ Odyssey says she may be gone, but she could read this back later. She won't. I know her. She's my sister. I love her, but she is not going to come back and read the comments. She might come back and listen to what I'm saying, and now I just read the comment. But, well, I guess that just screwed me up, huh? Derek, oh, Captain Batman, Darth will go mad. He's Irish. Oh yeah, he's not British. He's Irish. Anti-tracker, check my Discord comment, YouTube comment, all that jazz. No, wait, I will wait till your next stream. And there goes Sassy. She's at the window. There's something going on outside. Oh, my neighbor, who has a couple of dogs, is walking past the house, and his dogs are barking at another dog, and so my dog is barking at all of them. Thomas Potts, I have to go to work. Good night, Bird of Prey and everyone. Good night, Thomas. I think I'm going to be wrapping it up soon myself. This was a night to honor Frank Sinatra, a night to get a regret off my chest, and you were introduced to my sister, kind of. DJ Odyssey says he hears a cute voice. Oh, Sassy, my dog? Yeah, she's cute. It's not a voice. Darth says my dog is growling at your dog's barking. Oh, that's the dangers of live streaming when you have pets. So, okay, everyone. Really glad everybody came. Thank you all so much. Have a good night, all. I'll be around Discord for a bit, and then I'll be around tomorrow. Thank you all again. Happy birthday, Frank Sinatra, and Qapla.